Wendi plays the victim so well. To me, it looked like classic Wendi. I immediately thought she did this, and so she told me 50 times, Jeff, I had nothing to do with this. Charlie is street smart. He comes off kind of like a con man. He is really good with women. He's one of those con man, womanizer types. Different girl every night.
Have you met her parents?
I have. Everyone in that family suffers from a severe lack of empathy for other people. She learned that somewhere. And one of the strange things that happened was we had a trip to California scheduled to see my parents the week that Danny was killed. And in early June, she rescheduled that trip. And that's the other theory, which will sound super crazy, but the people that have visited the house in Miami said to me, has anyone considered maybe the whole family's in on this? I mean, this is I said, people don't do that. I said, well, you go in that house, it's real strange in there. It's real secretive. It's real weird.
Jeff is back. Jeff is back. Jeff is Wendi Adelson's ex-boyfriend, and he already was interrogated twice already. And in the first interrogation, he already had some inklings that it was Charlie Adelson, which is Wendi's brother, dentist brother, that was involved. And it's quite interesting to see the interrogation, to see his mindset and to see his thinking process as he goes through talking with investigators and also when he comes back for additional interrogations. So we're roughly about almost a year after the murder has happened. And at this point, Jeffrey has had a lot of processing to do with himself, with a therapist, with his friends. And he comes to a realization that maybe, just maybe, his ex-girlfriend Wendi possibly may have tried to frame him. He was putting it together. He thought it was really weird that Wendi decided to cancel this trip that they had. It was this trip before Dan Markell was murdered, and she didn't really give a good excuse for canceling the trip, and she canceled like a couple times already on him. And her concern was, well, we need to go pick up the kids. I need to make sure I'm not late to pick up the kids. And he's like, well, we're arriving the day before. You're picking up the kids Friday at 4 o'clock. Like, what's the issue here? It's not like there's any winter snowstorms or any like known delays. Like, she was really fixated on having to be there on the day that Dan Markell was murdered. And these interviews are so interesting because it's not like Jeff was really dating Wendi for that long, but it seems like he had some pretty good insight about her character, her family. And sometimes you just got a bad feeling about some people. You see the red flags, your alarms are going off, and you're kind of just like, I don't know, they're a little bit iffy. I feel like Jeff was really going off on his intuition here. Let's continue with the rest of the Jeff LaCasse interrogation. Oh, one last thing that I want to point out. Some people are commenting my last video that they want to watch the interrogation without any interruptions. When I react to a video, I always try to make sure to have the title on there and the channel so you guys can just go there directly and watch it yourself. And I also link it in the description as well so you guys can just click right into it and just begin watching it. I understand sometimes when you're watching it and you're really into something and you don't want to hear any interruptions, you just want to just listen to it straight on. That's totally fine. But damn, some of y'all be a little rude. I don't think it's my community, so I appreciate the rest of y'all. Let's see. What is this? On August 12th, 14, Jeffrey LaCasse came to the police department after calling me and asking to meet with me the day prior. He advised me he was going through old text messages and discovered the following. He and his ex-girlfriend, Wendi Adelson, were supposed to go to California July 11th to July 17th. He advised they made a reservation on April 30th. Wendi Adelson later canceled the reservation on June 4, 2014. He also advised that he heard from Wendi and other friends that Wendi's brother Charlie texted her last week and asked to go out and celebrate. Oh, is this a celebratory dinner? Oh, no. He further stated that while Wendi went to the dinner with Charlie, she vomited at the table. He thought of all this to be highly suspicious in lieu of the recent homicide. LaCasse further advised, wait, hold on, the time frame here. They were supposed to go to California July 11 to 17. Dan Markell was murdered on the 18th, right? They made a reservation on the 30th, but she canceled about a month before. And then when did the dinner happen? He heard that Wendi and her other friends, Charlie texted her to go out. Oh yeah, when was the celebratory dinner? Because I know they thought that was really suspicious as well. Like, what are you celebrating? And I think Wendi was like, well, it was just like, I've been inside the house for so long. And it was just kind of a thing where I'm finally out of the house and I'm doing things after the murder of Dan. He further stated that while Wendi was at the dinner, she vomited at the table. How does, LaCasse further advised that Wendi went to Guatemala March 13th to 15th. He stated that she seemed different after her trip to the country. LaCasse did not elaborate any further. He provided that Wendi told him over the phone that people were saying that she wanted to leave Tallahassee, and she told him that she did not want to leave Tallahassee. LaCasse told me that this statement was completely contradictory to the way she felt about Tallahassee and wanted to go to South Florida. He also told me that Wendi had a boyfriend in South Florida. He did not know who this individual was or could not provide anything further. And speaking of LaCasse, he believed that Wendi Adelson may be indirectly responsible for the murder of her ex-husband, Daniel Markell. When I informed him that Wendi was on a suspect, he stated, well, she should be. All right, now we're in March of 2015. Oh, Wendi called Jeff and said she puked and trying to convince him she was innocent.
So...
Yeah, and I think the reason why, it probably took them 5 days, or I'm not quite sure if that's been true, but if they took him like a bit to eliminate Jeff, remember, because like they had to verify his credit card and like the transaction, all that stuff too, and that takes a bit. So I can see why it took a bit.
It was Jeffrey or Jeff?
Jeffrey.
J-E-R-E-Y.
J-F-F-R-E-Y.
All right, Jeff, welcome back.
And it's L-A-C.
A-S-S-E.
She called him August after the murder. Okay, so is this the part where he's going to talk about the dinner?
So what's up? Corey said, and we talked on the phone a little bit, that you wanted to, and you can start at the very beginning, however you want to do it.
I got some notes. Do you mind that?
No, absolutely not.
I don't want to forget stuff, so I've been writing.
Yes,
stuff
get
down.
the notes out.
That we might end up.
Anyone here watch Real Housewives? Whenever there's like a Real Housewives reunion, you know it's going down when someone brings out their notes, the evidence, the printed text messages. I don't know. I get so excited when people have notes.
Well, here's the thing, and just to give you the broad overview quickly. I felt like when I first talked to Investigator Hale, I was shattered. I mean, you can imagine, you see violent crime all the time. So I think he saw a lot of noise, and a lot of the stuff I told him, but I don't know how it came across. The last couple of meetings we had, he seemed to think I was a disgruntled ex-boyfriend that got my heart broken, and that was why I was upset. And there was some truth to that. I was upset. But over time, I've got some clarity on some things. So I guess I'll just give you my overall impression, and just want to tell you things I saw with my own two eyes that were very suspicious to me that I didn't feel really heard previously. Or maybe they were heard and not seen as credible, I don't know. But just so you get the context for it, as far as the relationship stuff, that sucked. But, that last 3-4 months, I moved on with my life, Actually, her moving away was the best thing that ever happened to me in terms of my personal
Oh, good for you, Jeff.
life. It was a bad relationship. So this isn't any animosity towards her for being an unfaithful girlfriend. This is more deeply concerning stuff about someone getting killed. So I started dating Wendi in fall of 2013. We have mutual friends, because a lot of our friends are in the Jewish community at the School of Social Work. So we both talked to a lot of the same people, throughout the investigation. Your name came up a couple times. And we just have a lot of mutual friends and stuff. So that's how we met. So we dated casually in the fall. She just got divorced, so had I actually. And at the time, I came in here before, I thought Markell was a dick. That's what I had been taught by Wendi. Over time, I realized I was kind of misled. But in the fall, it was interesting. Let me start. Danny had been describing Wendi as a pathological liar and a mentally ill narcissistic sociopath in a semi-joking manner, but
to you?
To other people. I just heard that through the grapevine.
Yeah, because Jeff said that Wendi said a lot of bad things about Dan Markell, and that's why I was a little bit apprehensive about believing them. They're in a bad relationship. The divorce is very contentious. She could be telling the truth, or she could just be lying, or maybe a mix of both. But she was saying that Dan was very controlling, and that Dan was I have my voices here. Was really controlling, ran the finances, said that Dan was really mean to her. And then he's only had some few interactions with Dan Markell, and he said that Dan Markell was really passive aggressive, would say things to him. But I could see why Dan would be passive aggressive towards your ex's current fling. It's a little immature, but people are like that sometimes. And I don't think that's really out of the ordinary or anything. But I'm glad that he's been doing a lot of introspection and thinking everything over. Maybe Wendi really was just lying to me. I did call her a liar. I did say that she was, or Dan did say that she was manipulative. She was a narcissist or something like that. So I'm glad that he's taking a lot of time to kind of think everything through.
because people said, be careful with Wendi. She's a little unbalanced. And I said, well, she seems upset about her divorce, but I don't know if she's unbalanced. I didn't take it seriously at the time. It sounds extreme, right? I thought these two people were having a nasty divorce. He's calling names. I thought it was totally out of line. It's one of the reasons I was upset with him, because it seemed, you see in the court documents, I mean, he got sick of her and really went after her legally in a really aggressive way, and not knowing the background. I thought it was inappropriate, I thought it was taking things too far to try to disbar your ex-wife, But one impression I'm left with is, I don't think I said this before, like in December or January, I thought that was totally out of line. By May, I don't know if those are technically the correct words, but by May, I knew exactly what he was talking about. And this is a very troubled person, Wendi Adelson, deeply troubled person. And at first, she's gorgeous, she's smart, she's funny. I fell for this girl like a ton of bricks. Most men would. That was one reason I stuck around too long. But just an overall impression of her. And Danny says this in court documents, actually. A very manipulative person, a pathological liar. Wendi was an alcoholic while I was with her. She drank her dinner most nights. Extremely fragile, extremely depressed. Mm-hmm. Many, many nights sitting, hated Tallahassee so much that thought we're a bunch of country bumpkins if we liked Tallahassee because she's from Miami. Didn't hide that fact. Thought it was bizarre that I moved here from Phoenix. And the 2 conversations that we had every single day for 9 months were, Danny is an evil monster, and Tallahassee is the worst place in the world to live, and I can't believe I got stuck here because of Danny Markell. And she was obsessed with those 2 concepts. So I got really tired of hearing that, but I heard that every day for 9 months. Wendy's very manipulative in that she plays the victim very, very easily. Whenever we got into a confrontation, she'd pour me. Very sensitive that I work with DV victims, women that have been raped as a social worker, all that kind of stuff. So I'm a sensitive Mr. Rogers kind of guy. So it's a very, easy way to manipulate me, or Markell for that matter. But she just wasn't stable even in the fall, and able to cover it up here or there. One of these people, the first 100 hours you spend with her, you think she's amazing. 101 on, you're like, shit, what did I get myself into here? This person's kind of crazy.
You talk a little fast for me.
I'm sorry.
100 hours?
Yeah, first 100 hours you think she's amazing. Then after that, wait a second, there's some tremendous flaws here.
Oh, you've seen this interview before? I was thinking about watching Wendy's interview afterwards, and then maybe even listening to Jeff's testimony for Charlie Adelson's trial. I do want to get to Charlie Adelson's testimony as well. But if you guys have any other like interviews or testimonies you guys recommend me to watch, let me know. Because, I've been doing research about this case, but there's just so much that I just don't know. There's just so many different parties involved, so many other trials.
So she puts in a very good public face. It's but as far as seeing stuff pertinent to the crime, I met her brother Charlie when I was down there in Miami for Immokalee. You may recall that I said I found him to be a very strange person, very aggressive, verbally. He takes sex tourism trips to South America to have sex with underage prostitutes.
Wait a minute, back up a second.
Yeah, he takes sex tourism trips to South America to have sex with underage prostitutes.
Sex tourism?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, South America.
I'm kind of a sheltered guy.
Well, I was shocked not only that he would tell people he did that, but that he would tell his younger sister. That was strange to me. Very odd. And there's this odd dynamic between them. The whole family is real weird. He talked in the hot tub about punishing a girl by anally violating her in front of Wendi and I, like bragging about the fact that he'd hurt this girl because she had got him in an uncomfortable situation. So he came off like an offender to me. He came off like a, kind of sociopathic, like, this is strange. He just met me. He's telling me this. It was really, really weird.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Jeff mentioned that they only met once, but they did hang out for 4 hours. But it's like, this guy is like just dropping all these weird things. And it's like, dude, this is my first time meeting you. Like, you're telling me about sex with your girlfriend. You're like sexopades in like South Africa. I don't know, man. I wonder what Wendy's face was like the entire time. Was she just like sitting there like, in that awkward picture that he keeps posting of her where she's just like standing there and her face is like, what is Wendy's reaction to this? What did Wendi say to Jeff afterwards? Like, hey, sorry, my brother's like really awkward. He just likes that. Like, or did she even say anything?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know. I'm just trying to rein you in a little bit
ahead,
so I can make sure I get it right.
Yeah, please.
I do recall something about a hot tub.
Yeah.
But I think it may have been something I read from Corey Hale's report.
It might have been. Yeah, I talked to him.
But are you saying you're in the hot tub after the Immokalee retreat?
Exactly. We went from Immokalee to Miami and hung out with their brother.
Okay.
The first time.
So you're in Miami at his place, I guess?
Exactly. It's very wealthy. It's got a really nice house in Miami Beach area.
Miami Beach.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're there and you're in the hot tub.
Yeah.
She's in the hot tub.
Yeah.
And the brother Charlie's in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Okay.
Charlie's talking about punishing girls through anally violating them in front of his sister. It's just.
Is it braggadocious?
Yeah. Like she got him punched out at a wedding. He had a Korean girlfriend and brought him as the only white guy to 400 Korean people and just him. Some of the men took offense and he got punched out.
What?
Yeah. So the way he handled that.
No, I don't think he got punched just because he was the only white dude at a Korean wedding. It's because he probably did something to fucking offend them. Let me tell you about something. Korean people, okay? they will get physical with you. I remember back in the day when I was younger, it would be like a lot of underage drinking, and the group that always got in fights, it was always the Korean groups, okay? Something about Koreans and drinking sometimes. Brings out the Korean anger.
Anally violate her and then brag about it the next day. I mean, it was really, really weird.
That had happened the day before y'all got in the hot tub?
No, I misspoke there. It was pretty recent. It wasn't that day, but It was last month, the last couple of weeks, something like that.
So he goes to a Korean wedding as the only Anglo.
Yeah, exactly.
And some men took offense because he was a date for one of the Korean girls that was at the wedding?
Exactly.
Nah, man, he must have done something, or maybe that girl was still in a relationship with another dude. I don't know, man. Something must have went down. It's not just like, let me just beat up this guy because he's white.
And he probably opened his mouth or something.
Yep.
So,
he says he got sucker punched, but I don't know.
Okay, so and so his way of getting retribution is the girl that brought him to the wedding is to...
Anyone have a theory on why she vomited at the table that night? I don't know. Maybe she drank too much. Maybe Charlie got into like the real gruesome details about Dan's murder and that made her queasy. I don't know. Those two things off the top of my head, I guess.
Yeah. It was consensual sex, but he was bragging about the fact that he made it hurt a lot and that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And that was just...
he's bragging about.
And it was 20 minutes after I met him.
I got you.
So I'm just like, this is not normal. This is strange. Guys will talk to their guy friends. Although I've never said anything like that. I would never want to hurt a woman. It's, so it's... so it just struck me as very, very odd. Fast forward to May. We have that incident in the coffee shop that we discussed that Officer Hale and you were... I assume that's one of the reasons you guys were interested in talking to me in the first place. But just to remind you, I just walked into All Saints Coffee and there's my girlfriend with another guy.
Yeah, don't worry. The guy that he's talking about, he's been convicted for murder. We got his sentencing in like 2 weeks. Hi, Plum Plush. How are you doing today?
But that was a big deal in our relationship. And
right, because you see her there and she's with this guy and you don't know who the guy is. Maybe I got that wrong. You knew that she was seeing a guy?
That's one of the things that concerned me is that she would bring him up from time to time. And there was other signs. I mean, there's, I think, 5 to 10 other men. I was in denial about it in this time period. That's not a crime, obviously, but she's very impulsive, very erratic, doesn't think things through. She will do them and then worry about the consequences later. She was remarkably sloppy about cheating on me in terms of, that's what was interesting. Up until about early June, she was covering her tracks pretty well, actually. And, after that fight, we had not a huge fight, we had a mild fight about that. And things started to get really, really strange. And this is what I think I had a hard time getting across to Investigator Hale. So we have that fight. She goes to Portland for a weekend. She comes back. It's now June. And June, I was walking around saying to all my friends, I don't know what is going on. Something is going on. We had that very frank talk about that and decided to stay together. She said, it's one guy. He's gone. He literally moved out of the area, as you probably know. So in June, I was walking around saying to my friends, I don't know what's going on. It's just uncanny to think back on it now. I said, I don't know what's going on, but something's gonna happen. Like, it feels like there's drum beats. It feels like we're moving towards something. It's really, really strange. I don't know what's going on. And one of the strange things that happened was we had a trip to California scheduled to see my parents the week that Danny was killed. And in early June, she rescheduled that trip. And I said, what's the problem with the trip? She says, well, I'm worried we'll get stuck in the airport and we won't be back on Friday. I have to pick up the kids from school. And I said, but we're coming back Thursday night. It's not winter. We're not going Atlanta in the winter. I would understand. There's no way we're going to get stuck. We can rent a car. We have friends that could babysit. This is strange. I said, fine, cancel the trip.
And that was going to be in early June?
The trip was going to be the week that Danny was killed.
Oh, okay. That was the trip?
11th to 19th was supposed to be the trip. So we had a trip planned, and she was real strange about the fact that we had to reschedule this trip. It just didn't make sense. And I even said, if you just don't want to go because you don't feel comfortable right now, just tell me, that's cool. She goes, no, I have to pick up the kids from school that day. I just have to. I don't want to do anything to stop that, And she said, I'll miss the kids at that point. I said, okay.
Wait, so we knew that Dan Markell dropped the kids off that Friday morning. Was she slated to pick up the kids in the afternoon? I would have just assumed like he would have, or maybe like she was taking custody for the weekend.
A couple of days later, I say, well, she said, but I want to spend that time with you. I was leaving for Tennessee on Friday. And she said, I want to spend that Monday through Thursday with you. I said, great. You want to go to St. Augustine? She loves the beach. She hates Tallahassee. This, again, is just very strange and suspicious to me. Wendi Adelson tells me, what I want to do is a staycation. I want to stay home in Tallahassee. I said, you want to stay in Tallahassee the hottest week of the year? She goes, yeah, we'll go to Tom Brown Park, we'll do this. I said, you hate it here. I'm offering to take you away. Why wouldn't you? It was just really strange at the time. I remember saying to my friends, like, Wendi wants... People laughed. I said, Wendi says she wants to stay in Tallahassee. Like, she leaves town. Sure, every chance she gets, she leaves town. Why would she want to stay? I said, I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
I finally managed to convince her to do a trip to St. Augustine, but we had to schedule it so that we were back.
Okay. She was Corgi, split custody. Her week was coming up. Dan was heading to New York that day. Okay. Because I'd be curious to see if, she didn't. Well, I was curious initially, like if she didn't have custody after he dropped the kids off at daycare. And it's like, oh, well, why did she want to pick up the kids so bad? But now it makes sense. Okay.
Basically, by the time of the shooting. So that was just...
Wait, who's Georgia? Do we have a new person in the picture now? Who's Georgia? I don't know who Georgia is.
Basically, by the time of the shooting. So that was just strange. It was peculiar at the time. And she was... When we scheduled that trip...
Oh, yeah, I like Georgia. Okay. Yeah, I know who Georgia is. Sorry, I thought we're still in 2014, not in 2023. Yeah, Georgia, we listened to her. She was the one that did the direct examination of Wendi Adelson, right?
In August, I'm sitting her, she has her calendar open. You have to schedule everything with her. That's just how she was. There was just, at the time, I can remember sitting in her office trying to schedule this, and there was this weirdness about that weekend. She was scheduling other things, no problem, but that weekend, she just was intent on. That day meant something to me before Danny was shot. Like, there's something weird about that week. I don't know what it is, but there's something weird about that week. If we keep going through June, other things I noticed in June that were really crazy.
Let me back up a second so I get this right.
Yeah.
July 11th through 19th, you're supposed to go to California.
Yeah.
Leave on the 11th, come back on the 19th.
I can look it up for you. It might be 12th to 19th, but it was the week that
Oh, July 11 to 17. Okay.
Danny was shot. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when is she saying, I can't do it? What date? What date are we talking about when she's telling you I can't do it?
Early June. I can pull up exactly.
Early June.
Early June, yeah.
So you're supposed to go to California with her, just you two.
We have plane tickets purchased. And she sat me down. I think it was June 5th or 7th. I will find out for you if you would like.
Yeah.
And she just said, I can't do that, and it just didn't make sense. It just didn't make any sense.
So she'd already said that date was that window of
She said, this is the 1 week I have to go see your parents. And I
11th
said,
through the 19th.
But that was in May we booked them. So 3 different times she canceled plans with me in the 2 or 3 day period with Danny.
What you're leading to is this is highly suspicious that she needs to be here on the 18th of July.
Yeah, just anecdotally, subjective.
And then also, when was Harvey's 70th birthday? Because I do remember Georgia talking about that. How, they were celebrating Harvey's birthday and they were going to give him like a really huge gift for his 70th birthday. What was the date on that? Hi, Tam. How are you doing today? How are you? Hello. Yeah, I feel so bad for Jeff. Because Jeff thought that she was already seeing another guy. I don't know if that's true or not, though. Have we heard about anything else about this other guy? Or was she just really preoccupied in Southern Florida because of the planning with the family? Harvey's 70th birthday was July 5th.
Whatever it's worth, it was really weird. It was really strange. I know this woman. I know her really well. And there was something at the time with me saying to my friends, what's going on? It's just really, really strange. It's just really...
She'd never done anything like this before?
No, she had canceled and recanceled, and she did that all the time. Completely disorganized person. But it usually made sense. It usually had a reason. And...
Oh, Donna? Not guilty. I would say not guilty. Especially for the murder of Dan Markell. You think Donna, someone like Donna who hated Dan Markell, is going to say she was guilty for that?
Usually the reason was something about court with Danny, or the parents wanted to come down to South Florida. Every other time but this, I understood. This time I was completely puzzled. It didn't make sense. And it was very, very strange.
Okay, so she cancels this trip to California. Did you go anyway?
I did
No,
not.
of course you didn't. You were okay.
Wish I had.
Yeah. And so what happens to these plane tickets?
Her ticket, I have no idea.
So she bought her own?
Yeah, we bought separate plane tickets. As a matter of fact, I don't know that she did buy a plane ticket.
Oh.
But she told me she did.
Same airline? Same flight?
I can find out.
Should I move the captions here?
Because we had a discussion about getting our seats moved together, so I think she probably bought a ticket, actually, but I never saw the ticket.
It wasn't discussed any further?
I can't recall.
Okay, so that's the first thing. In early June, she says, Jeff, I got to be back on that Friday the 18th.
Exactly.
To pick up the kids. I guess that's going to be the first of her week with the kids, maybe?
Yeah, she gets the kids back after because they went to 7-day schedule in the summer.
Right.
And she's going to miss the kids. I said, we'll be back. It's not. I said, if you don't want to go, just tell me I don't want to go. No, I want to go. I just got to be back for the kids. There was a special.
Okay, why not adjust the flight or adjust the...
Well, she had the kids the previous week. This was her one free week. She's also booked all summer.
Well, the 18th is a Friday.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so, going backwards, the 11th should have been a Thursday, I'm thinking.
I can look it up, but it just wasn't. She was booked week by week throughout the summer.
She doesn't even have any school stuff, right? I mean, I don't know if you're off during that time.
No, I'm completely off. She has a lot of obligations to her parents. Her parents want her down in Miami every chance she gets. All through this county, there's parents. All right, so three different occasions. This at the time, it's like, what's going on with the 18th of July or the week of the 18th? What is?
Throwing Up was on July 31st. July 31st. I got to make a timeline of all this. Throwing Up event. So by this time, she was already in Southern Florida with her family. And when exactly did Wendi move to Southern Florida with the kids? How quickly after Dan Markell's death did she move down there?
This. I don't understand what this is.
Okay, so the first thing is the California trip, and it's next.
Yes.
Then you want to take her to St. Augustine, because you know.
Yeah, and she wants to stay, and that's just bizarre.
But did you ever make plans to go to St. Augustine?
Yeah, so a week later, again, we sat in front of the calendar, and it was really strange. There was this hesitancy about that weekend. She says, I'll go to St. Augustine, but we have to be back early on Friday.
Early on Friday?
Early on Friday.
What does early on Friday mean?
We were going to wake up and come straight back from St. Augustine, so we would have got up at 7, been here by 9 or 10.
Okay.
She had to pick up the kids from school until 4. It didn't make sense.
Okay.
So I said fine, and my thing was I was going to drop her off and then drive up to Atlanta. I was going to drop her off and go. So that was just strange. It just stuck in my head. Like, what?
Because your trip to your friend up in Tennessee, what was the date you were supposed to go?
I was supposed to leave at about 10 or 11 a.m. on Friday the 18th.
Okay.
Because I was supposed to the original trip was to go straight to Atlanta, stay the night in Atlanta, then go up to Tennessee the next day. So I was supposed to leave here at 10 or 11 and get there at 4 or 5.
On Friday afternoon?
Friday afternoon, yeah.
Okay.
That changed, but that was the original.
No, because you left on Thursday.
Yeah, I did.
All right, well, let's jump to that so I can fill in this blank.
Yeah.
Why did you leave on Thursday?
We'd had a huge fight in late June. I discovered some other cheating. I was very upset with her. And she had sent me we had sort of broken up, basically. But she put me on a 7-day hold.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah.
She sent you an email or something?
Exactly. So the night before, I was so upset. I was just like, fuck this, I'm going. I said, get out of town. I was upset. But that's something my friends have said to me that I've never said this, but my friends have said, Jeff, because sometimes it's hard for me to see this clearly, they can see it more clearly. Jeff, you do realize that if you left Friday at 11 a.m. for Atlanta, what this would have looked like, you would have been in custody. You're really.
Oh. Okay.
Now,
So his friends also helped him think through this as well.
I'm not saying that, but some of my friends, it was like a clumsy attempt to take attention off her and put it on me. I'm not saying that's true. It sounds a little far-flung to me. It sounds a little clumsy to me. But she knew exactly when I was going to leave. I'm a late riser, and she didn't know I changed my plans, obviously. So I'm glad I changed my plans. I wouldn't blame you guys for being a little more suspicious if you didn't. I mean, if I leave at 11, you just see me driving north 10 minutes after Danny showed up. So that looks suspicious to a lot of people. I know it makes it sound like a criminal mastermind. It may sound crazy to you, but that's what my friends say. So can I go back to the stuff in June?
Absolutely, I'm sorry.
You know, any questions you want to ask? And I know I talk fast, and
Just a little faster than I'm used to.
My dad's from Boston, so
Okay.
I'm an adopted Southerner, but I haven't slowed down yet. So, in June, these are just my impressions, but there was 5 or 6 times in June I'm playing with the kids. We had a good family life, terrible romantic relationship because she was cheating me all the time. But I'm home with the kids with her, nice family life.
You're at her house out on
Every time, yeah.
Cameron.
Exactly, off Aqua Ridgewood Lane, yeah, nice house. So 4 or 5 times in late June, I'm playing with the kids, reading them stories. I was very close to Ben in particular, spent a lot of time with those children. And I look out of the corner of my eye, and Wendi would be in the kitchen crying for no reason whatsoever. And at the time, what it looked like to me is she's like taking it all in, and she looked like she was grieving something. And I would say, what's wrong? And she'd say, nothing's wrong. Or make up some bullshit story. She lied so much, it was hard to know. But in retrospect, it makes me worry a lot because it looked like she was wrestling with something. It wasn't suspicious, it was just weird.
2014, restaurant would have surveillance back then. I don't know if they would have, by then, they wouldn't have kept the surveillance for that long, you know? I feel like most surveillance, mostly like a week, 2 weeks, maybe tops. Especially for a restaurant, I don't think they would have kept the surveillance maybe more than like even 2 days, maybe. I don't know. Because by the time they heard about the dinner and the throwing up thing, it's like, what, almost a year later? I believe it happened when LaCasse spoke of her bringing Pepto-Bismol. She has a weak stomach. Yeah, I think they probably verified it. Otherwise, why would she bring it up? No use in previous trials, but would be useful for Wendi. Wendi hung up on Detective Izome. Her attorney called Izome back. The parents refused to meet with the detective. Charlie didn't attend the funeral. When Luis Rivera, that's one of the hitmen, right, called Katie to tell her that Danny was dead, Katie said that she already knew. Only way she knew was because Wendi in Tallahassee must have called Charlie. Wendi cleaned out her childhood bedroom while she was in South Florida visiting mom and dad. Possibly. That Wendi thinks that would plant a seed that she knew after the fact. I think that she was still 100% in on it, by the way, but Wendi dropping out of the facts does fog up the case around her. This is during her first murder attempt on June 4th. On June 4th, 6th, that Jeff is talking about is Wendi taking medicine.
But in retrospect, it's like, wow, let's assume she knew something was going to happen. That's how a person might react, you know? She made a choice, but...
That's late June?
That's late June. That's late June. So that happened enough times that I talked to my friends about it. What she was talking about in June, relocation to Miami. How terrible it was to be stuck in Tallahassee. Crying like, I got stuck here, I didn't choose this, I can't stand it. And she talked about the fact that the only way she could ever relocate is if something happened to Danny.
Now, does she actually say that?
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
This is the first time you've mentioned that.
I don't think so. I think I did mention that to Investigator Hale.
Yeah, he did.
I think I did.
Well, no, it wasn't. I had 3 interviews with Investigator Hale, and
okay.
The next 2 was me trying to tell him things like this, and I don't think he was hearing me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, she didn't say that I killed Danny. She didn't say that word for word. But it was, because I was saying, hey, we're about to, like, get serious here. Are you going to be here? Because she hated it so much. I need to know what's going to happen. And she's like, well, the only way that, let me give you the context. The only way I could leave is if something happened to Danny. But if that did happen, that would be a tough decision. I would probably need to go back to Miami to be with my parents. So that scenario came from her. But it was a response to a question from me, so I mean, I guess I need to be fair about that one.
Sure.
But it was, and it's true, right? I mean, it was. I asked if Danny might move with her. She said she would not be willing to do that. But she was talking about that.
She would not be willing to do
that. No, she didn't. Well, Danny had job offers from all over the country constantly, and she didn't want to live in Houston or St. Louis or things like that.
I mean, Miami and Tallahassee are probably vastly different, right? I've been to Miami before. I haven't been to Tallahassee before, though.
That, I mean, she was miserable here.
I hate Miami. The beach is nice and beautiful, though, but I fucking hate Miami.
She was here just because she came with Danny. She didn't like her job. She didn't like the area. She didn't like split custody. I don't know that people knew how upset she was. I mentioned to you before you came into the room when I said this, but this is the time period. I don't know the exact day. I'm so distracted by relationship stuff, I can't quite remember it. But she told me that Charlie had looked into having Danny killed in the summer of 2013. She meant it dead serious. I wish to God I'd follow up on that. At the time, trying to figure out us, and I thought, well, Charlie's crazy, I can imagine that, but certainly he's not crazy enough to do that, so I didn't worry about it.
That's your interpretation.
It's not mine.
No, let's back up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's get into the...
Tampa was nice. Yeah, I went to Tampa before. It was really nice. And then Clearwater, nice area as well. And then, wait, is Tampa the one that's on the west side of Florida and it's about like an hour away from Clearwater? Because there's this other city I went to in Florida. It was like really pretty.
Context of your conversation with her where that comes up about Charlotte.
Please.
So
she just... she's talking about Danny. She is completely...
Where are we at?
We're at her house in the living room in late June.
In late June of 2013?
Yeah, 2014. Yeah.
I'm sorry, 2014.
Yeah, late June. And you know what this might have even been? This is sometime between June 20th and the Monday before Danny was shot.
Okay.
And I want to say it was right before, but I don't trust my memory on that, the date. And she's talking about Danny because that's all she ever talked about. Danny wasn't a human being, he was Satan.
He was what?
He was Satan.
Satan, okay.
And what was real strange about this was that in January, February, March, they had a lot of court stuff, and I could see why she'd be so pissed off at Danny. Danny had calmed down. He liked his new girlfriend. The judge had read him the riot act in court when they went to court the one time and told the other attorney, you need to calm your client down and stop having your client write his own legal briefs. I'm sick of reading this crap. You know, Danny was going to get his butt handed to him by the court, and Wendi was going to have to concede a couple things, but she was going to win, everybody thought. And he had calmed down. He really had. So I was trying to say, maybe we could talk about Danny a little less. Danny's chill. Danny's happy with Amy. This is good. This is good for us, you know? And I was starting to see Danny a little more realistically at that point. So she's in the middle of these conversations where she's just ranting and raving about Danny. Very angry with Danny. She's she's very sensitive, and the worst thing you could do for Wendi is point out that she's not perfect. And that's what Danny represented to her, is he said, you're a liar, things like that. Anyway, she just comes out of the blue, and I said, well, I just wish something, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, this isn't going to ever be fixed in the way you want it. You're linked to this man for your life. There's no fix for this, but you have to fix what you think and feel. And she said, well, Charlie did look into having him killed last summer. He said it would cost about $15,000.
$15,000?
That's right.
So why would you share this with him? I get it, you're in a relationship, you're, maybe boyfriend, girlfriend at this point, but I mean, come on, y'all weren't even dating for like a year. I don't know, that's...
Seems cheap to me, but you would know better than I.
Like, sharing this, knowing that, like, your family might do something, but, like, sharing it, knowing that, like, maybe it was just, like, a joke or something. But, like, I mean, we all kind of have an inkling that I feel like Wendi knew something was about to go down. I don't know, man. I don't know. He's got his notes there with him, too. Thank goodness. Yeah, he's got a great memory recall. Oh, yeah. Do we have interviews with the friends from lunch? Do we have interviews from any of her friends?
And
it's I want to make sure I understand this completely.
Please.
So June, what was the date?
Between June 20th and March 14th, let's say. I think it's probably I think it's closer to July, between June 20th and July 14th. I think it's closer to July 14th.
Okay. She says,
Yeah, the name change was like within a year. Within the year after Dan Markell's murder, she like officially, legally changed the names of the kids, right? She said it was because the kids were getting attention, and I think I don't know if this is a different event, but like someone mentioned that like she changed the kids' names when enrolling into the school before it was legally changed as well. And what was it, like her explanation for that was, well, Nancy, what's her name? Nancy Grace? Nancy Grace had a picture of her kids up there. It was unblurred, and she didn't want the attention to be on her kids. Well, now the attention is on the Adelson family. I mean, couldn't she technically just change her name back to Markell? Because, like, the Adelson family is not doing good in the news right now. Might want to change it back to Markell.
Charlie
did actually look into having him killed last summer. And he was told it would cost $15,000.
Hey, sure. Go eat your feet. Yeah, that's why I was trying to see if we could find that Nancy Grace segment to see if she was even telling the truth.
This is just paraphrased, but I want to make sure I understand. Yeah. Charlie did look into having
Danny killed last summer.
I mean, Nancy Grace probably covered the trial. Did she make a comment about that? Her videos pop up on my feed from time to time.
It would cost about $15,000, and that's not exactly word for word, but that's pretty.
Can someone tweet at Nancy Grace with that clip of Wendi Adelson saying that? Maybe she'll reply. I don't use Twitter.
Close to what she said. Wish to God I had followed up. But how do you respond to that? What do you say?
What did you say?
I changed the subject to us. I was interested in working our relationship out.
Did she ever bring that up again?
No. Never again. But what worries me is that the speech pattern, I'm not trying to play FBI profiler here, but
it's kind of like I told you half a truth instead of half a lie.
That's how she lies. That's exactly. I'm sure you've done that a lot in your life. So it doesn't have the impulse control just to say nothing in high stress situations, but gives you this half-assed version. Yeah. So I thought about that a lot.
But you do remember the amount is $15,000?
I do remember that.
No further than that, nothing else?
There's nothing else. I wish I followed up. I beat myself up about this.
No, you didn't.
What am I going to do? Call you guys and say my girlfriend said something crazy? I don't know,
No.
The thing that worried me about Charlie is he has a very close friend and goes on these trips with him who's ex-special forces and is known for being kind of deranged, and I thought that guy was done by somebody who knew what they were doing. So I told you guys that already.
What's his name, though? I never got a name.
I don't know. I assumed you guys investigated it. I don't know. He's a tatted up, known affectionately as a deranged guy. Guy just didn't come back the same like some of these guys do, unfortunately.
But he's a close friend of Charlie's?
It's on his Facebook page. That's what I told investigator Hale.
Okay.
When I heard the crime occurred, about 12 hours I was shocked, and then as I'm driving up I-75, in my head I was like, holy shit, Charlie did it, and he got that guy, I can't remember his name, to do it.
You're saying this guy is on Charlie's Facebook page, or was?
Was. I don't know if he is.
Okay.
These are really smart people. I wouldn't be Facebook friends with them anymore if any of this is true. Other thing that happened in June, the relationship isn't doing well. All of a sudden, from nowhere, you know, like a 5-year-old kid will try to manipulate you in a very transparent way, and it's like obvious what they're doing. She started doing that kind of stuff. I got the sense we weren't going to make it. It was obvious to me, and I never going to trust her again. All of a sudden, she throws me the world, and I thought at the time I said to my friends, I've been very careful not to develop like a hindsight bias. I've checked back in with my friends.
Oh, you know what? Maybe there has to be like a Reddit thread. I feel like Reddit does a really good job at finding everything. Is there like a Reddit thread for the Adelson stuff? There has to be, where like there's someone out there that probably found the Nancy Grace segment.
What did I say? They said, you said in June it felt like Wendi was stringing you along for some reason, and you couldn't figure out why didn't she just break up with you? She's like, this ain't gonna work, you know. So all of a sudden, she's telling me I should move in.
Move in with her?
Yeah, she's talking about moving in. And I wanted a family so bad. She knew that. She manipulated me with the kids constantly. She said the kids should start calling you daddy. I want to talk to my mom and dad, and I'm not Jewish. That was the whole thing. I want to prove by the parents. I want to give you the...
Oh, wait, he's not Jewish? I thought... Hold on a second. Did he just say he's not Jewish? Do they just have like a lot of Jewish friends, I guess? They're just part of the Jewish community?
She said the kids should start calling you daddy. I'm going to talk to my mom and dad, and I'm not Jewish. That was the whole thing. I want to prove...
Oh, he's not Jewish, actually. Oh my God, we have so many notes to take. Okay. Just not Jewish. Wendi was going to have the kids call him dad. Oh, but she probably didn't mean it.
Parents. I want to give you the passwords. I want to give to all my computer accounts. She started acting like this was going to be a permanent thing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I can give you a second.
I have to respond to
I
this
understand.
right now.
I understand.
I guess not. I guess he just have like a lot of Jewish friends, and he's just part of the Jewish community. Like, you know, I guess he's not Jewish. I know, right? I hope he's like happily married with more kids, doing great. I hope he's doing okay.
So just at the time, I felt like I was being manipulated. I couldn't figure out why she'd want to keep me around. It was really strange. Just all of a sudden, here's the world. Just all of a sudden being over the top sweet.
I hate it. Jeff, I'm confused about this timeline here.
Yeah,
Maybe we should try to get that.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay, where's this week off?
That's in July. I've been going.
Okay.
I've been going in order.
Okay.
So we're still in June right now.
Okay. So we're in. But this comment from late June of the 20th through the July 14th is before or after what you're telling me now?
I can't remember exactly.
It's my fault.
Yeah, it's okay. No, it's not a fault. I can't remember. I want to be as honest and accurate as I can.
Sure.
I think that's the Monday before he was shot, but I can't be certain. So this would be preceding that.
Preceding.
Preceding that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gonorrhea.
So it just off straight.
Is gonorrhea supposed to be like gonorrhea or like diarrhea? Or both. That's so gross. Oh, okay. So y'all think that she kept him around for a little bit? Oh, man, had no intentions of having a serious relationship with him.
Right, these are just my impressions, but it's like, what is going on? It just didn't make any sense. It was just really strange, erratic behavior.
She wants you to what, though?
Dude, well, I was threatening to leave at this point.
Okay.
So, and I guess if I'm putting on my cop show hat, I'm wondering if it would have looked weird if you break up with your boyfriend and then a week later someone gets shot. You know what I mean? I don't know. So get to mid to late June. She went down to South Florida. She came back. I could tell she had cheated on me. I was very upset. It's very obvious. And we went to Gainesville, June 27th. She accompanied me down there for a work trip.
27th?
Yeah, that weekend together. I tried to, thing was she was going back to Miami for 2 weeks. As soon as we got back, we drive back to Tallahassee, then she drives down to Miami with her mom.
Oh.
So that was because her mom has to come up to take with her because she's not allowed to go herself. I knew it was the worst time in the world to have a fight. I just finally lost my mind on her. So the only reason this is relevant to the investigation is it precedes this crime by a couple weeks. I did not touch her. I did not call her names, but I lost my shit on her. I told her exactly how upset I was. I chewed her ass. She decompensated in a way that I've never seen an adult do before. She ended up in the fetal position, sobbing like a 3-year-old. So I was really upset, as you can imagine. I mean, and it put me with the kids on Mother's Day and the next day. I was really upset. So anyway, I was pretty angry with her. And you may have seen the email. She actually was manipulative enough that I ended up apologizing for that.
Was this on her Gmail account?
Yes. There's a lot of...
Other investigators have looked at those.
Gotcha.
And so I'd have to figure out which one.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you see it, it's a little bit...
I just didn't know if it was her Gmail account or her work account or a different account.
Yeah.
So if I want to go back and look at it, I'm going to look at the Gmail.
Yeah, it's Gmail. It's on Gmail.
Did she give a reason?
It's deeply important to her she be perceived a certain way.
No, did she give a reason why she was having multiple sex partners?
Not a good one, no. I mean, she said she didn't, actually. She said she was very upset by my behavior in Immokalee when we had two, what you or I would probably consider normal range, uncomfortable conversations for 30 seconds. So she said, I was afraid in Immokalee you were going to be a jerk. I said, could you please be more considerate to me? That's literally all I said. She's a hair trigger. I think she didn't want a boyfriend, is my suspicion. I think I was awful helpful with the kids and stuff like that.
Okay, I got you.
I think she enjoyed using me as her...
Okay, let's narrow this down.
Yeah.
Okay. June 27th, you're telling me, is the date that you're in Gainesville and you have this blow up.
Yeah, we have a total blow up.
Okay, so is the comment about Charlie and the 15 grand after that?
It is after that.
Okay, so we can narrow it down to the 27th and after.
You know what? I just want to be as conservative as I can, but I'm almost positive that was July, the Monday before he was shot.
The Monday.
I had to bet money on it. That's where I put my money.
Okay.
So, when I was talking to her about that, I was struck by how cold and callous.
See, that's why I feel like Wendi was planting seeds, man. Just in case if the attention was going to be on her, she didn't want to go down for it. She was going to plant seeds about her family.
And basically sociopathic she was. Here I am, I was crying, I was very upset, and I said, you're not a sociopath, you must feel bad about this on a certain level. And she goes, I don't know if I'm a sociopath.
Now, when he testified, did he also kind of echo the same thing, that the Monday before Dan Markell was shot, that Wendi mentioned the hitman thing and her brother?
I don't feel bad about any of this.
Had there ever been a confusion about, Jeff, I'll just be simple, elementary terms. Jeff loves Wendi. Wendi loves everybody. You see what I'm getting at?
No, that's what
you understood her, that she was supposed to be strictly with you?
Yeah, just from March on. Before that, I knew I knew what she was doing before that. March on, I've been to 50 dinner parties where I'm introduced as her boyfriend. She took me out in public constantly. Continually.
Give me a minute here.
Yeah.
You need something?
If you have water, I'm going to try to appreciate it.
Yeah, get him some water. Maybe some tea, too.
Very good socially. Charlie is street smart. He comes off kind of like a con man. He is really good with women. He's one of those con man, womanizer types. Different girl every night. Very socially smooth. So he enjoys flowing from one side of society. He has a Ferrari. I mean, he could just hang out in the upper crust. he doesn't. He enjoys slumming with these other guys, you know. So I think he's taking trips with that guy, though. If we're going to look into it, I believe he's part of the crew that like went to South America.
I have somebody checking right now to see if maybe we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, by the way, Charlie is so industrious and so street smart that if it wasn't that guy, it wouldn't make me any less suspicious that Charlie was involved. He just was the natural first thing that popped into
So
him.
what do you think, Jeff? You don't, okay, so when you first started talking to me today, and don't take this the wrong way, when you first started talking to me, I thought we were fixing to crucify Wendi right here as far as everything, and that she was directly involved. Not necessarily that she killed her ex-husband, but had solicited for someone to do it.
I still believe that. I'm 100%, never say 100%, I'm a researcher. I was 90% sure when I talked to you guys in July. I was waiting for you to catch somebody, because then maybe I'm crazy, right? So then when Myron May happened.
And then at this point, he's like, dude, what the fuck is going on? How come no one's been caught yet? The family's still roaming around freely.
I'm sure when I talked to you guys in July. I was waiting for you to catch somebody, because then maybe I'm crazy, right? So then when Myron May happened, I thought maybe it was Myron May. You know, I'm just wondering. At this point, I'm pretty confident.
This is an email that I think you're referring to. I'll give you an opportunity to read it.
Yep, that's the one she sent. That's where I'm going right now.
Okay, so this is July 15th. Is that accurate?
That's right.
Okay, July 15th is the Tuesday before.
The thing she told me about Charlie would have been the night before this.
Okay, so we are on the 14th.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, it would have been Monday, July 14th. That's actually just where I was going right now.
Go ahead.
So she goes to South Florida for 2 weeks. We barely talk. It's hard on both of us. You guys have emails. It's bullshit romance stuff going back and forth. We had one long conversation and decided to patch things up. She sounded very calm in this conversation.
These are phone conversations?
Yeah. You know,
she's in Miami.
She's in Miami. And while she's in Miami, she says, she would just disappear for 14 days. I wondered if there was another man down in Miami, too. It seemed plausible because her parents take care of the kids. It doesn't make sense how busy she is. Come back Monday, we go on a date. That's the 14th. That's the night that...
okay, you're on the date here.
Yeah, we're on a date here. It was real awkward. And she was a little strange, but it was overall a pretty positive date.
That's on the 14th.
It's on the 14th.
So you're having this conversation during or after your date?
After the date.
Back at her house?
Back at her house. Back at her house. Yeah, and didn't have wine that night. She was sick. She got back home. She was really stressed out and sick. So the next day is Tuesday the 15th. Wake up in the morning, I call Wendi, and I told investigator Hale this. I don't know if there's anything here, but it was kind of bizarre. Talk early in the morning, maybe 9 or 10, and I said, I'd like to see you today. I was a little encouraged. And she said, yeah, I'd love to see you. And she'd walked herself out of her house. I said, well, come hang out with you. She said, I'd love to spend time with you. And then I waited. 3 hours later, I get a phone call, and she's like, actually, I got into the house. Let's not do the afternoon. Let's just go to yoga together.
So where?
Yoga.
Okay.
So we went to yoga together. It was awkward as hell. She was cold. She was done. I could tell. So I'm sitting there going, okay, this is over. Walk her to her car at the end of yoga, and I say, I love you. I don't know what else to say. She goes, I know. I was like, well, that's not ideal.
I love you. And she goes, I know.
Yeah.
Of course you do. I'm a goddess.
I'm a narcissist. Yeah. So I said, I literally went, okay.
Oh, poor Jeff. You imagine saying I love you to someone, they're like, I know. Oh my God. Jeff says, I love you. When they got to the car, it was awkward. They were cold. Okay, so here's what I have so far. So this is in July. For 2 weeks, Wendi sort of disappears. Jeff thinks that she's probably with another dude. But they have a phone call. They patch things up. Monday, July 14th, they met up. And that's when Wendi said that Charlie was going to hire a hit. That's when Wendi mentioned that, like, oh, back in the summertime, Charlie said he was going to hire a hitman for $15K. Wendi was sick. She got a cold. The next day, July 15th, Wendi was locked out. They were supposed to hang out, but they didn't. Decided to go to yoga instead. After yoga, he walks her to her car. He says, I love you. Okay, that's where I'm at right now. Okay. Sorry, we're just putting all the timeline together right now because I'm getting so confused. All right, but we got this. We got the timeline. Thank you, Jeff.
I just turned to leave, and I told Hale this, but I want to say it again. She goes, hey, Jeff, are you still going to Tennessee on Friday? And I say, I'm thinking, why the hell does she care?
You're walking away, you're separating?
Yeah, I went 10 paces away from her, and she says, hey, Jeff, are you still going to Tennessee on Friday? And I say, I lie. And I say, actually, it's up in the air, because we talked about if we broke up, I should come over and say goodbye to the kids. I was hoping she'd invite me over. And she said, well, she was deeply interested. She asked me 3 or 4 questions.
But this is after this, right?
It is after. No, that's not. I get this email at the end of the night. She goes home and she sends this email. This is after this. This is after the conversation. The conversation I'm talking about right now happens an hour before I get this email.
An hour before. Okay, so we're still Tuesday the 15th?
Yeah, at 7 o'clock at night.
Okay. Okay.
So she asked 3 or 4 questions about under what circumstances would I go? Why am I thinking about not going? She seemed deeply interested in what I'm going to do on Friday. This was bizarre. I was like, well, whatever. Got home, got this email. What was so strange about this? We had just spent 16 days away from each other, thinking about things. Then I get this. I told her, if you don't want to do this, send me a text and say I can't do this anymore. Why would you string me along for a week? It's real strange.
I just want to make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I'm going to read this aloud. So if there's something, it pains me to be writing this to you now, but here we go. I need some space to clear my head and to figure out how to move forward. I am heartsick, but my head and my heart are having two different reactions to us being together, and I can't reconcile them to be in this like you would want me to be. So she's saying you're coming on too strong, basically, is what I'm reading. You want a full commitment.
No, that's not how I read it, but I mean, it's...
Well, I mean, that's how I'm looking at it. Is that not true? I mean, do you want a full commitment from her?
I wanted to continue the relationship, yes.
Okay.
But we had discussed just breaking up. We just spent 16 days apart thinking about things.
Right. You're 16 days apart. Then you go on a date on the 14th. She makes the comment about her brother was looked into killing Danny the previous summer, which would have been summer of 2013. She didn't specify a month. You didn't question her any more about that.
I was too focused on this stuff. Yeah, I didn't.
No, you make...
Did someone mention that did Rob go on a podcast and talk about this? I feel like I remember someone telling that to me. Am I just making that up? Yeah, I heard that Rob was over the family drama because the family was upset that he married a woman that wasn't Jewish. And then he was the one that cut them off because he was just like, fuck this, which I fully support. Please cut off your family if they're being toxic. He did. What's the podcast? Do we have a link to that podcast?
When she's making this statement on you're saying the Monday, which would be the 14th.
Yeah.
When she makes this statement that Charlie had looked into having someone do this for 15, it was going to cost. Hey, how much does it cost to kill this guy? And the answer that Charlie gets is $15,000.
Rob briefly talked on the Wondery podcast. Oh, can someone link it to me in the Discord?
He shares that with his sister.
Yes.
Okay. And then she says that to you. It was going to cost. Hey, how much does it cost to kill this guy? And the answer that Charlie gets is $15,000. He shares that with his sister.
Yes.
Okay. And then she says that to you, and that was in the context preceding that conversation was basically, what do you want to do? You don't like it here. I'm talking in your...
that was part of the conversation. There was constant conversation about Danny was awful at Tallahassee sucks. That's not all she ever said.
And I can't do anything. I'm stuck here because, I guess she got denied relocating with kids.
She did.
And she's saying, I'm stuck here unless something happens to Danny.
Oh, wait, he disconnected from the family after the murder. Oh, I thought he disconnected from the family because of the whole drama thing. It was after the murder? Yeah, guys, you guys are new here. Join the Discord if you haven't already. You got a true crime section. Join the Discord. That's my social media stuff. And like the stream if you're enjoying.
Getting at.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting at.
And then she just spills this out.
Well, you do be spamming them paragraphs.
And then I think, by the way, she just went to the bathroom. I think there was something like that where
But you're saying that, there was no more conversation about this. Is huge to me. This is like, my brother's already checked into it and it costs this much. Is it like this is still available and open, or 15 grand is too much we're too cheap?
This family's rich. I mean, that's nothing.
No, I know. But
he's got petty cash in his office.
Okay, but was this like this option still available? Is that how it was?
It was just said in passing, and I've mulled it over in my head 100 times. I didn't know what it meant.
Okay, so my brother checked into it, and it was going to cost 15 grand.
I'm just heartbroken in this situation. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about how do I get this woman back.
I realize, but I'm trying to glean this from what the interpretation that you got from it.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, because when he heard it at the moment, he was probably just like, okay, that's fucking weird, but look, can we talk about us getting back together? Like, why are you showing me this? Oh, planting seeds. That's why.
You told me you didn't ask for anything more about it.
Poor Jeff.
A statement like this, don't take this the wrong way, but if I was in your shoes, I'd be saying, what the hell are you talking about?
I got used to her craziness. That's okay, right? So she's all over the place all the time. So I think I just wrote it off as another crazy thing Wendi says.
But you recall the amount.
I do, and I went back to a couple friends because I told them about this after Danny got shot. I said, holy shit, that's what happened. So I beat myself up about that.
No, I don't want you to beat yourself up. I just want to make sure that you didn't. I'm just trying to get you to see. Is there anything else that you can recall? I'm not saying you did anything wrong.
I know I did that.
I'm saying, are you sure you didn't miss something else in that conversation?
No, because it was right back to her and I.
Okay. All right.
Since you're going to be here, and that's not going to happen. That.
So this comment is made in passing as she's traipsing off to the bathroom.
Her bedroom or something.
Comes back out. It's all.
And I say, I had a good time last night, or something like that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. He was talking slower a little bit. Now we're a little bit more animated. Sorry.
It was that kind of thing. So she sends me this email. And I don't know if it's coming on. I didn't know what to make of it. I sent it to some of my friends who know her pretty well and said, she's crazy is what they said. I mean, why wouldn't she just break up with you? It doesn't even make sense. I should have broke up with her. But we've been apart 16 days. She wants another week. But recall that when she left Danny, she just...
Is the Laundry podcast, is that on YouTube? Can you guys link it?
Moved out while it was gone. So confrontation isn't her thing, you know. So maybe that's why. So Wednesday goes by. There's Thursday. Thursday, she...
You're still up in the air about leaving. You've told her, I don't know for sure if I'm leaving Friday or not.
That's right. She doesn't know for sure. I don't know if she would have or would have known. We have mutual friends that I told on Wednesday or Thursday that I was going, that it wouldn't shock me if she were able to find out that I was going. I mean, we have mutual friends.
But your answer to her was, I don't know yet. It's still up in the air.
That's right. But the next day I decided to go. So it was all
Wednesday.
Yeah, I decided to go for sure on Wednesday. Thursday, she changes her Facebook picture. I'm sure you've seen the picture.
Oh, please show us the Facebook picture, Jeff. I haven't seen the Facebook picture yet. I need to see this Facebook picture of Wendi looking all glam and like photoshopped up.
Thursday, she changes her Facebook picture. I'm sure you've seen the picture of her in the beautiful purple dress. It's all over the media. It was suspicious to me after that.
It's all over the media. Oh, okay. Wendi. Okay, let me find the picture for you guys.
The fact that that picture was changed 12 hours before Danny shot, and that's the picture that was distributed to the media. She's very concerned with her appearance and how she looks. So I know that maybe sounds crazy. Investigator Hale seemed to think it was, but I thought this is so strange. She changed her Facebook picture twice in 2 years, and the night before Danny shot, and she's going to be all over.
Wait, is this the picture? Florida dentist has been found guilty of murder. Oh my god. Oh my god. Here comes the ads. Ah, the ads. Go away. This one right here. He's a purple dress. We can't see the kid's face because he initially said like the kids like didn't look flattering, but like maybe he meant like the kids weren't looking at the camera. Maybe they were just like looking like sideways or something like that. Booba. Maybe this is the picture that he's talking about. Purple dress with the kids. All right. Booba pic.
For the media, she looks like a Victoria's Secret model, you know?
Oh, okay. Yep. Victoria's Secret model. There we go.
So, but I was bothered enough by that picture because it...
What was the prior picture?
Something that looks more like a 35-year-old woman with 2 kids would have on her Facebook page.
Okay.
I mean, it could just be like, hey, freshly broken up, freshly single. Who dis?
All the other pictures, and she looks pretty enough, but that one looks, she looks amazing in that picture. She's not even that pretty raw. That picture, I think her dad
Photoshop.
Her dad photoshops that stuff. He does that kind of thing. So it was a picture produced for her by her father, I believe.
No, I don't know if I buy the pictures photoshopped. Does it look photoshopped? Like, hey, Dad, can you Photoshop this picture for me to make my boobs bigger? I don't know. What would be the Photoshop?
So Friday I leave. Thursday night I leave. About an hour after I saw that picture, I said, fuck this, and I just drove out of town. The next day, Danny shot at 11 a.m. No one contacts me, which we have a lot of mutual friends, and they didn't. I talked to some of them after the fact. They tell me that they were under the impression that I was very likely an actual suspect in this case. I posted on Facebook from Tennessee Friday night at a time where it would have been impossible for me.
Wait, he didn't say that. She wasn't even that pretty. No, he did not say that. He said she looked good in that picture, no? I didn't catch that.
To ever have been here at the time of the shooting. She didn't contact me for 10 days. She told me that the police had instructed her that I was a suspect and she was not to return a text message that I sent her. That she could not do that. I actually recently dated a criminal defense attorney, just coincidentally, and she thought that was bizarre because she said they want you talking, you want to incriminate yourself, they're going to get access to this stuff. But
That didn't come from me.
I don't think it came from anyone. It was very strange. Well, I know legally you can't do that probably, but
no.
I mean, why would you want to? So I wasn't in the room with her. I don't know how she acted or whatever, but it was implausible that I did this. And I don't know if she told me I tried to protect you from the police. They want to know where your house was. They want to know this. I said, I don't need protecting. How come none of your friends called me or texted me? Well, they told me later that she seemed to be concerned that I actually did this.
Why would you do it?
Fuck if I know. Why would I do it?
Well, what did she say?
Yeah, because like, if we were to give this guy a motive, right, it would have just been like, oh, he just got dumped by Wendi, this woman that he was obsessed and in love with, and he was so angry that he went over. Actually, no, it doesn't make sense. Why would he go after Dan Markell? Because it's not like Wendi was going back. No, actually, no, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why? What would have been his motive? Because it's not like Wendi was dating Dan Markell or Wendi was going to go back to Dan Markell. And it's not like Jeff wanted Wendi to move to Miami. Jeff was in Tallahassee. Wendi wasn't going anywhere. Shit. I mean, the reason why she's stuck in Tallahassee is because of Dan Markell. So why would he want? Yeah, actually doesn't make sense. It makes no sense why he would go after Dan Markell. What would have been his motive? The hell?
Whoa.
What was Wendi
Time of
thinking?
passion. We're breaking up and Jeff's upset. I mean, so I don't know if she said that to you guys. I know you can't tell me that. But she was telling people in her social circle, apparently, that they shouldn't contact me, I guess. That, this was really a possibility. And that just seems deeply suspicious to me. A lot of these people aren't really close friends with me, but I found out about this crime third hand. And that just struck me as incredibly strange. And suspicious, very suspicious. I just got a couple other things and I'll answer your questions you have. Called Officer Hale, said, hey, just so you know, Wendi has a key to that house on Trescott. So I know there was some mystery and discussion and speculation. How'd the guy get in, or I don't know, the crime scene details. But Wendy's constantly losing keys and rediscovering them,
A listener note.
So she had keys. He didn't call me back on that. I don't know if it was helpful or not. And then here's just a list of strange things that she said after the crime. I talked to her 3 or 4 times. She said, I love Tallahassee. I wanted to remain in Tallahassee for the rest of my life.
These are phone conversations?
Yeah, these are phone conversations. Danny has so many enemies, it will be impossible to figure out who did this. He's a pretty beloved man, and he was an abrasive guy, but that's a strange thing.
Oh, I found the episode. I'm the oldest, my brother behind me, and then 6 years older than, he's 6 years older than Woody. Okay, I found the episode.
To say. I've never heard any sympathy from her one time about Danny. She still seems enraged, obsessed, and defiant about Danny. I told Officer Hale that her and Charlie went to dinner maybe 3 weeks after the crime. Charlie called it a celebration dinner via text. She puked on the table during the dinner after Charlie said something. She wouldn't tell me what he said. She said Charlie made a remark and I just puked everywhere. So
I wonder if Charlie just said something really gruesome about Dan Markell's murder scene.
Celebration dinner?
That's what Charlie called it. You can look up, if you have access to text, you can find out. Yeah, that's what she called it. She said the kids are having problems, but not because of Danny's murder. So the kids are peeing the bed and having natural kid stuff, not because of Danny's murder. That's a really weird thing to say. Most people would say they're upset because their father just got killed.
Yeah.
It seems to be important to her that it not be because of that. She was very upset that I attended Danny's memorial service. When the Tallahassee Democrat ran the story, they put, must have been a worst nightmare, front and center picture of Jeff LaCasse. Go through all that in my head. I come to the conclusion, as you said a minute ago, that she was at least aware this was going to happen, and I think probably involved in it.
So who attended Dan's memorial? So Wendi probably showed face, brought her 2 boys, right? Donna and Harvey, they were there. Jeff LaCasse was there. Wendi was mad that Jeffrey was at Dan's memorial. Says a lot. Yeah, it's unless Wendy's angle was like, you did this. How dare you show up at his memorial? Maybe that was her angle that she was trying to go with. Donna, Harvey did, but not Charlie.
I just want to see if, I just want to confirm this is the individual.
I think I'd recognize it if I saw it. At least it was the same photograph I saw.
Yeah.
Photograph I recall was 4 guys like this.
Okay.
Oh, is that the picture from the dinner?
All right, I got the men that you're talking about. She made Well, first of all, does she still have the same phone number?
She switched her phone 3 or 4 days after the shooting because she thought you guys had bugged it.
Okay. All right, do you have the new number?
I don't. I think she has the same number. She has a different phone. She just wants
a different handset?
Which is silly because you don't need to put a bug on a phone physically.
Right.
I mean, it's funny.
I did hear about that, Judy. Where did you hear that from? Was it on, where did that story originate from?
Why would she be concerned about people bugging her phone, or police bugging her phone, I guess is what she's specifically concerned about?
She's real concerned about that. She told me that.
Did you ask why?
No, I knew I immediately thought she did this, and so she told me 50 times, Jeff, I had nothing to do with this. And I always just let it be silent, sorry. I just let it be silent because I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to play my hand. I've never said anything to her. I just wanted to listen. I was hoping she might give me something interesting and I would come tell you guys. Because she's erratic enough, I thought she might say something stupid. She must have said 50 times, I had nothing to do with this. And you saw her statement in the press. She's worried for the safety of her and her children. No one's suggesting a serial killer looking for Jewish lawyers, you know? I mean, this was pretty targeted, so...
Yeah, you think, she's concerned for her children's safety.
Wendi plays the victim so well. To me, it looked like classic Wendi. Everybody else felt bad for her. I thought, holy crap, she did this. She plays the victim instantly. She's great at it. And those names I give you, I mean, that's so you have all the data I have. Wendi with Charlie. I don't know who pulls the trigger, but there's a very strange relationship between those two. Yeah. I acknowledge this might all sound real crazy to you, Mr. Garrett.
How's that? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does sound fucking crazy. It does sound fucking wild. That's why people heard about this story. There's like, what? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm still like, it's crazy. I don't know if it's crazier. Now, the Murdoch stuff is pretty fucking wild too. I was about to say maybe this is crazier than the Murdoch stuff, but man, the Murdoch stuff was pretty fucking wild. But I guess what's crazy about this is because there's so many people that were involved that were complicit to this. That's fucking wild. A whole fucking family. Jesus. And another set of family. Katie McBenoit and her like baby daddy, you know, like fuck. She didn't get to show them off, dude. And I think you gotta like exchange the implants like every 10 years, supposedly. I don't know.
I'm very interested in this.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I understand it completely.
The dentist horror movies, yes. I used to love watching them as a kid. Oh my God, it was my favorite.
I'll sound real crazy to you, Mr. Garrett.
How's that? No.
Yeah.
No, I'm very interested in this.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I understand it completely and thoroughly.
Yeah.
And I can see that it's been weighing on you heavily.
Well, it has, because it sounds crazy to people, obviously. Although I've told a couple of people the whole story like I told it to you start to finish, and no one else has said I'm crazy. My therapist said, one thing I forgot to tell you, I had to go get a damn therapist. It was so crazy. So to try to manage her, I tried to get some advice on relationships. And in April of 2014, he tells me, look, he's real blunt. I gotta be honest with you. There's two possibilities. One is she's just getting over a divorce and drinking too much, and she'll settle down over time, maybe live happily ever after. Second option, she sounds an awful lot like a sociopath to me. That's an objective person.
Right.
And I said, sociopath? He said, yeah, high functioning, but she doesn't seem to have a conscience. And I said, oh, Jesus, what have I got myself into? Because I was in love with her and I wasn't going to leave at that point. But that's the kind of feedback I've gotten when I tell people what she's actually like.
Okay.
I prefer that you guys catch somebody else, obviously.
Right. When's the last time you talked to her or had any conversation?
I could find it for you. It would have been in around August 20th.
Oh, that long ago.
Yeah. She cut off all contact because I didn't tell her I was dating. It was just bizarre. That was the time, it was about the time of commencement, summer semester commencement. That was another thing as far as narcissism and a crazy person. You know what Wendy was mostly upset about? And she told me this. The fact that she had to cancel her commencement speech because Danny was shot. Her attorney said it's a bad idea to get yourself in front of the media like that. And decided to.
Her commencement speech? What was her commencement speech for?
I'll show up. You can't do it. She was devastated. It's bizarre.
I went back and looked. Apparently you all have somebody, McPherson?
Jay McPherson.
Yeah. What's the relationship? She has something to do with Wendi?
They claim that she was in the room with Wendi in the 9 hours you guys interviewed Wendi.
She came up here. She was not in the room with her.
Wendy told me she was in the room.
Well, okay, let me correct that.
That sounded weird to me.
She came in the room, I think it was over the children. The children had to be picked up.
Gotcha.
And there was two ladies that were up here, and I can't remember if that was McPherson or not.
Jay was with her.
Commencement speech. Let's see. On July 18, 2014, someone shot my ex-husband in the head while he was pulling to our garage after he dropped our then 3 and 4-year-old sons at school. I only found this information when the police picked me up from a lunch date I was having with my 2 girlfriends and insisted I come with them back to the station and then interrogated me for 8 hours straight because it's usually the ex-wife. I'm not really okay. I list the things that are going well when people ask this question. My children are thriving and happy. We live with my parents. Who are incredibly devoted to our well-being. I started my own immigration practice. I signed up to do a 1-year clerkship with the Federal 11th Circuit in September, which means I can get off Obamacare and have 1 year guaranteed of steady income. But the truth is, I miss my life. I was a professor at Florida State University College of Law. I was so proud to be a public interest attorney and a mentor to my students. The novel I wrote about my clients' stories has been chosen as a common read for the first-year students at FSU. This is what she was supposed to give a commencement speech about the book. In August, I was supposed to be the commencement speaker, and then I was supposed to take my brain cancer surviving, just turned 70 father on a trip to Machu Picchu. And I don't get to complain that I didn't get to do any of those things because I'm alive. Nah, man, she's probably so pissed off. Like, damn, Dan, getting in my way again. Okay. Sorry, she was just supposed to do a commencement speech, not because of the book thing, but all right.
That day, coincidentally, Jane's one of my doctoral students in our program. So she's getting her PhD in social work. I teach in social work, so I know her professionally.
Right.
Jane is the one I talked to for about 3 hours, maybe 2 weeks after the crime. They told me that Wendi and her circle of friends thought I did this.
Jane told you that.
Jane told me.
Did Dan Markell have any life insurance on him or anything like that, where the benefits would have gone to the kids, or like 401k or anything like that? Wouldn't it have just gone to the kids, and then Wendi would have benefited because she was a caretaker? Yeah, why was she on Obamacare?
She said you had to be there if you were, and she basically made it sound like if you, and she's a confidant of Wendi. But Jane knows Wendi as well as anybody. Jane doesn't think any of this. Wendy's pretty good at fooling people. Although some of this information is publicly available, I should add. Like, she's a Truman scholar. If you go on the web and look at her statement, she says, "I hate Tallahassee, you're a bunch of country bumpkins." That's basically what she says.
Although I think she told a lot of the locals that she was satisfied, she wanted to make the best of things, and that she actually...
No, that is what she said. And not when the door closed and it was just me and her in the house. That was, I got tired listening to it. I think it's a great place. I deliberately moved back here. I couldn't went anywhere. so...
But it wasn't for her. And she made that clear to you, is what you're saying.
On a daily basis. You couldn't go to a movie theater without hearing...
Dan's sister Shelley's the administrator of it. Okay.
About how the movie theater in Miami is better.
Okay.
She's obsessed with it. Her dad thought they'd be her semester. Got stuck here.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would make sense though. Cause just have the even if it's like there's a life insurance, make the sister the beneficiary and just make sure the sister gives the money to the kids when they need it or something like that. I could see that.
So.
And then all she'd been wanting to do is get back to South Florida, and she made that quite clear to you.
I mean, it was kind of cold actually. She basically told me it was.
Wait, he didn't have brain cancer either? It was about her crap book. She was posed. I might read the book. I don't know. What should we do? I read Wendi Adelson's book, so you guys don't have to. I read Becky Hill's book, so you guys don't have to. I like reading, so I mean, I'd be down to read those books.
You're in South Florida. I'm going to South Florida.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So there's just some sick dynamics where Wendi at one point told me that Dad was extremely violent. And I thought, well, this makes sense why you're so gun shy and, hair trigger. And then later I said, well, with your history of family violence, she said, I never said that. So there was a lot of inconsistencies in line, but I don't think Charlie's been up here. If you were, with your experience and instincts, you were to talk to Charlie, I assure you, there's something off about that guy.
What about this FBI thing?
I heard through the grapevine that the FBI talked to Rob up in New York.
That's what Wendi told you?
No, I think that's what Jane McPherson told me.
Okay.
So, and I try not to believe everything I hear because misinformation's everywhere.
Well, if Jane McPherson heard it, she most likely got it.
Well, the Corey Richards book, that's a kid's book, man. That's like, it was like, what, 8 pages?
Wendi.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
But he's like an outside, he's not really a part of the core family.
They don't have a relationship, basically.
Okay.
And the impression is he's a guy who wants nothing to do with his family. There's something that happened in that house, and he wants nothing to do with it.
Okay.
And I just think there's, that's the other theory, which sounds super crazy, but the people that have visited the house in Miami said to me, has anyone considered maybe the whole family's in on this? I mean, this is I said, people don't do that. It's, well, you go in that house, it's real strange in there. It's real secret.
Let me go back on that one right there. Entire family being in on this. Some weird shit going down.
And he wants nothing to do with it.
Okay.
And I just think there's, that's the other theory, which sounds super crazy, but the people that have visited the house in Miami said to me, has anyone considered maybe the whole family's in on this? I mean, this is I said, people don't do that. It's, well, you go in that house, it's real strange in there. It's real secretive. It's real weird.
Have you met her parents?
I have.
Is there anything that you can tell me about them?
Everyone in that family suffers from a severe lack of empathy for other people.
Okay.
She learned that somewhere. Pillars of the community. You get on his website. I mean, years ago I went on it. He was polite to me, but Dad's polite, Mom's kind of rude, actually. I know that Father has been speculated about. They hate Danny in a way. I have a wife. I've been through a divorce. I get life. I've never seen this kind of obsession. Like, their hobby is hating Danny. It was like really strange. I mean, and I fell into this because Wendi could convince.
At this point, I guess they didn't have access to the emails yet, right? They had Wendy's email, but not like Donna's emails. No, but then like they must have had emails between Donna and Wendi, unless Wendi had like other emails that she didn't give police access to. Because in the emails, Donna was like all over it.
And maybe she convinced the parents, but they were going to put you said you looked at some emails, but not others. At one point, Wendi was going to get a restraining order against Danny, which in retrospect is bizarre because he was a good dad. But she had Gary, Gary is a lawyer he's the one that offered Wendi the job so she could relocate in the summer of 2013. He runs a tort firm suing drug companies. He offered her $1 million job, and I wondered about him too. It's not sexual, it's more of a father-daughter thing, but they're close.
Gary.
I don't know his last name.
Where does he work?
He's a lawyer. He works in Miami.
Okay.
He owns a tort firm, and there are emails. She sent this document. She compiled every email, like between Danny and Wendi, for like a year and a half. And the idea was to make this legal case that Danny is harassing her and stalking her. She always goes to this. She told me Danny was a stalker because he looked out the window one time and saw her walking down the street without the kids, and he goes, "Where are my kids? I have right of first refusal. If you don't have the kids, I should have the kids." Wendi claimed that was stalking because he said that, So anyway, all these emails, and the idea was we're going to persuade some judge that Danny needs to be reined in. I read this document. At this point, I'm a little skeptical because she's screwing everybody else. And I said, this is an indictment of Wendi Adelson's character. You read this thing, you get the impression this woman is a total loon. It was interesting because she thought, from her point of view, it showed what an asshole Danny was. If you were to read this, it's like this person is crazy. So that was when I started to figure that out. But there's that different perception. At first, she seems really together, and then just loses her mind. So my worry is that she had something to do with this, and has no conscience.
Maybe she tried to by talking so much shit about Dan Markell, and then Jeff just wasn't buying. She's like, okay, fine. You know what? You're going down for it then, at least.
And it's hard for me to believe she could, you can't give a polygraph. I can't believe she'd pass a polygraph. I can't believe she would stand up to repeated questioning if you guys had any leverage. I understand that this was done in a smarter way. It's, I don't have any leverage. But my experience with her was over time, she just collapses, you know. But the question is, did he threaten?
No, we're in 2015 now. We're about, I don't know, like 9 months after, not 9 months, 8 months? 8 months after the murder? We're in 2015 after the murders. So at this point, they already had access to Wendy's email, but probably not like Donna and like, yeah, probably not all of those. Because Wendi initially probably gave up her email stuff. And then afterwards, she just ghosted them. Was like, nope, I'm not working with you guys anymore.
And Danny, no. If the question is, was he pathologically upset with Danny in a way I found disturbing and it put me off and it was different than, say, even Wendi or her mom? Yes. Incredibly intense about it. Incredibly intense. Charlie's so difficult to get along with. He doesn't have one dental office. He works at 5 dental offices. They can only handle him 1 day a week in each office.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you imagine having Charlie
He seems to know
Adelson as your
this and trying to
dentist?
He's figuring out how to make it work for him, but he was a special ed kid, I believe. It's very difficult to get along with.
Boy, I'm hitting on Jeff over here now. I think Jeff is a married man now.
And he is fiercely protective of Wendi. He had suggested seriously that they convert to Islam.
The whole family?
Just Wendi and the kids.
Islam?
Islam or Christianity, one or the other. Just to screw with Danny.
Oh, it was Christianity.
So they're not very devout in their
No,
Jewish
they're
religion.
atheistic Jews.
Pardon?
They're atheistic Jews. Jews that don't really believe in God. They do it culturally. They eat the food. These people don't have ethics or morals. I mean, they don't.
Immediately after the homicide, you came back. I'm with that, and then you reached out to Wendi, or she contacted you.
10 days later, she texted a mutual friend, acting as if I would be upset with her.
Right.
And I said, tell her to call me. She did. At 3 in the morning. She wasn't sleeping well. And we had a very awkward conversation. Mostly, I think literally she talked for an hour and a half, and I said probably 30 words. I just listened mostly. It was real. She wasn't sleeping. It was real crazy. But that's where she told me a lot of things that weren't true. I mean, she was, and that could just be a relationship thing. It was just, I couldn't contact you until Jimmy Judkins talked to you,
right.
I believe. And I don't know. I thought it was really strange not to. All my friends were texting with her, and she wasn't writing a lot back, but everyone else she acknowledged. If I think of anything, I'll get back in. I actually had 2 quick questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yep.
This is completely selfish, but I'm concerned about me in this situation. I'm wondering how long it is, in your opinion, before the media, before journalists are poking around looking at this case. And I'm worried about my potential exposure as a professor and as a person.
This is an open.
Yeah, Jeff, man. Dude, Jeff must have been so fucking scared to have a target on his back, possibly. What? You're writing a paper? I could never listen to someone talk while writing a paper. I can't even listen to music, like especially if there's like lyrics in it while writing a paper. Oh my God. Well, there you go. Multitasking. Oh, geez. I really think Jeff was correct when he said that she had a habit of blurting things out that are not in her best interest. Yeah, because Jeff said that like she has a hard time with just like silence, and she's the type of person who would just like say something. I'm kind of like that too sometimes. Mostly. Yeah, I like to talk.
In case I don't, they can ask all they want to. They're not getting anything.
Okay. That's what we're
I mean, I may call you. I mean, at some day you may be called as some type of witness.
I would do it in a second. Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure that we're upfront about this. I mean, let's say it goes
We need more good people like Jeff.
from here to an arrest to a prosecution, and for some reason, your testimony's needed.
I would say anything I said today under oath. I would.
Okay.
So that's easy.
All right, but as far as anything prior
We need more witnesses like Jeff.
to, anything that you're telling me, if for some reason that was, leaked to the press or anything like that, then I got an arrest to make of somebody else, no matter who it is.
I got you.
Okay?
I got you.
That'd be...
And then one other email I sent him, I pretty much accused her.
Okay. But I mean, obviously, it's more than that. I mean, yeah, you more than just suspect her at this point. That's what you've been telling me after this afternoon, right?
No, that's true.
What I've basically gotten from you is this woman is direct.
When was the hitmen and Katie McBenoit, when were they arrested? Was it in 2016?
involved.
She is.
Now, I don't think you're saying necessarily that she killed her ex-husband,
No.
but she either had something to do with orchestrating it or had knowledge that it was going to happen. That's the whole point about I have to be back on the 18th, right?
No, give you a thumbs up, and knew it was going to happen. There's something weird about that day. So I don't think she doesn't have the skill to orchestrate it, but Charlie does. So that's quite, and
But you left on Thursday, and your last conversation with her was on Wednesday.
My last conversation with her was on Tuesday. Right, an hour before that email where she says, look, I need a week.
No, on the email she says she needs a week.
Yeah.
An hour before she sends the email, she says, "Are you still in town on Friday?"
That's exactly right.
And you said, "I don't know, it's still up in the air."
Yeah.
But you did not. She did not ask you to stay in town.
No, she did. But like the next day, I see Jane McPherson at work, and maybe there's all kinds of possibilities. So she would have found out I was leaving. Do you have any suggestions if I know they're doing a dateline on the Frosch guy that killed his wife out in Thomasville, and they only came to town. Any just advice for being an experienced investigator what I should do if I'm approached by the media, because it's not unimaginable.
Go talk to Investigator Rice.
Okay.
How simple is that?
That's easy.
Yeah, don't have to say yes, no, nothing. You're a U.S. citizen. There's nothing. Yes, they have First Amendment in their favor, but that doesn't mean you have to say a thing.
No, I appreciate that, but I watched Dateline enough that I can just imagine that me being presented with these pseudo suspects. That's how they do it. They show.
Nah. That would be. I don't think they're going to do that. There's a lot of. That could be libel a lot. I mean.
The bump was in 2016. Okay.
I don't have you listed as anything at this point.
Good.
Okay, so no, you shouldn't have to worry about that.
Wait, who's this? Dan Markell murder case. Who paid the high legal fees for the defense of... Wait, is that Katie right there with her new boobies? Who paid for Katie McManus' defense? Oh, she got a show for boobies.